All right, I want to talk about something that most of you guys watching this video, I know you are, you're guilty of this. It's called, it's a phrase I coined. It's called coffee coasting syndrome. Let me know if this describes you. You're working at your workplace, wherever you work, law firm, whatever, office, and you see a lot of people, they just get their coffee on the coffee break and then they're sipping on it throughout the entire day. Now I want to ask you guys, all you guys that are actually doing this, do you guys even still notice an effect from caffeine? From coffee specifically, right? Because it's not just the caffeine. Coffee has various polyphenols and compounds that actually produce different subjective mood benefits, differences in how the actual brain ends up performing with regards to mood, performance, motivation, focus, attention, all that stuff. But if you're continuously dosing the coffee all day long, you're sipping on it all day long, there's so much more pressure that you're putting on your dopamine neurocircuitry and your adenosine receptors, your dopamine receptors, and tolerance and downregulation of these receptors arises so quickly. Versus if you actually space it out and you just administer the coffee intermittently, every 2 hours, let's say you have a small coffee, which is a reasonable dose. I never drink more than a small coffee every 2 hours because you're not getting more, right? There's a certain threshold for caffeine administration, all the other compounds and polyphenols in the coffee and the subjective and actual objective effects they produce in terms of aptitude. Those actually end up dropping off after a certain dose of coffee. So if people are getting like a medium coffee, large coffee, I'm like, bro, like you're not even doing more. You're just like unnecessarily stimulating your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal gland axis. You're just pumping out cortisol unnecessarily. Like that's aging you. Like cortisol, skin aging. You can't refute that, okay? So there's that. First of all, people are overdosing coffee and they're sipping it all day long. Not only are you harming your enamel by constantly administering an acid, coffee is basically it's a weak acid, 4.5 pH. You're not even giving your enamel a chance to remineralize. Your body has mechanisms in place that allows phosphate and calcium ions to remineralize the enamel throughout the day. The pH in your mouth has to recover. If you're constantly drinking coffee, you're impeding that mechanism. So that alone would allow me to reach the conclusion that I would never engage in such a behavior. But secondly, I've tried it for the name of science, and the beautiful subjective effect I get from coffee, if I have one small coffee every 2 hours or so, a beautiful increase in subjective mood and a willingness to be more motivated and focus oriented, more attentive. That all goes away once I start coffee coasting, and that's a phrase I coined, coffee coasting syndrome. You're just literally coasting on coffee all day long. You're not even doing it for the effect anymore. It's like literally become a habit and you're just sipping it all day long. I tried that for one day and I realized how garbage that was and how grateful I am to enjoy a small coffee. I never drink more than a small coffee per dose. Every 2 hours, it gives me better mood, better motivation, more follow through on task, and it gives me something to look forward to every 2 hours. And you can coordinate your breaks with that. It's perfect.